every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book. Nationwide Mortgage Bank is equal housing lender. NMLS number 819382.
Welcome in. Ready to start the show. Thanks for joining. Well, it is good to be back with you. Stay dry today. It's not been easy in Central Ohio lately. I was out yesterday. A couple people sent me a text. I do appreciate this. Some of you panic when I'm not here. You think I've had another health episode. I'm fine. I actually had an awesome weekend. My oldest daughter graduated from college on Saturday, and my middle daughter, I was able to drive and get her at her school. Spent most of yesterday and the day before on the road. So a great alone time with her. It's always nice to get away from the headlines of the day because overwhelmingly the headlines are depressing. Whether it's national or whether it's local, they're usually depressing. Not always. There's some good stories. I try to end the day every day with an uplifting story. But it's today very, very long on bad headlines, all coalescing around an issue in America that shouldn't be an issue in America anymore, all coalescing around race. And this really bothers me. And I think it should bother you. And I just wish, hope, pray there was a way we could get away from viewing far too many things through a racial prism. I view things through a good and evil prism, through a prism that the Bible instructs me on. And therefore, I believe, as it says in Galatians 3:28, all of you who were baptized into Christ Jesus have clothed yourselves with Christ. And this is where I'm going with this. There is neither Jew nor Greek. So in other words, we're not to split up along ethnic lines. Okay. Slave nor free, male nor female. You're all one in Christ Jesus. We don't see that in Ukraine and Russia. We don't see that in the Middle East. And sadly, we don't see it here in the U.S. And we certainly don't see it over the weekend in the state of Ohio. Because this morning in Hamilton County, which is where Cincinnati is located, Rodney Hinton Jr. was in court. And he is now charged with murder, as he should be, for, by all intents and purposes, intentionally running down and murdering, assassinating, with his car, a retired Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy. The retired deputy's name is Larry Henderson. He retired, I think, in December, 33 years with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. So these two men did not know each other. They had had no previous interaction. Rodney Hinton Jr. is black, and Larry Henderson is white, and he was wearing a law enforcement uniform, and that appears to be the only motivation that Rodney Hinton Jr. needed to intentionally hit the accelerator in his car and run down and murder Larry Henderson. Why did he do that? Because on May the 1st, which I believe was Friday, maybe Thursday, I don't know, doesn't really matter. Ryan Hinton Jr.'s son, Ryan, was shot and killed by Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies, or maybe it was by law enforcement. It was just by law enforcement. Because Ryan Hinton, the son of the man now accused of murder, and three of his friends, sound familiar, in Columbus, Ohio, stole a car. So law enforcement were responding to a report of a stolen car. When they got to where the apartment complex where the car was allegedly stolen, or was in the process of being stolen, or had been stolen and then had been driven, The 4 suspects ran from police. Bad decision number 1, steal the car. Bad decision number 2, run from police. Ryan Hinton was not done with his bad decisions. He had a gun with him. Bad decision number 3. Bad decision number 4, he hid behind a dumpster. And he had the gun in his hand. And Ryan Hinton then was shot by police who were understandably in fear of their life. The Hinton family, including Ryan Hinton's father, Rodney Hinton Jr., viewed the body cam video the next day. And the day following that, which was May the 2nd, Rodney Hinton Jr. went looking for a police officer that he could kill. He saw Larry Henderson operating a traffic signal near the University of Cincinnati's commencement exercises. And I will just read you what the footage from a school bus and from local traffic cameras shows. This is the testimony of another police officer who was on the scene. He said that Deputy Henderson was on patrol for traffic duties, standing in a control box used to cycle the light for graduation ceremonies in full uniform and a traffic vest. So he's got the yellow vest on. He's easy to see. Footage at the intersection exists. The mounted camera shows the aftermath. Bus video captured the crash itself. Rodney Hinton pulled into the left lane, used a turn signal, stopped well short of the intersection with traffic stopped and no vehicles in front of him. He then accelerated eastbound, crossed into oncoming lanes with no traffic in his way. He went left of road markers through the intersection and hit Henderson and a utility pole. Hinton made no attempt to stop or deviate from the path. Here's what the prosecutor said in court this morning.
There are no evidence of skid marks. There are no evidence that he tried to avoid him. It appeared from everybody who was on the scene that he deliberately struck the deputy in an attempt to kill him.
Okay, so that's a intentional act. The judge this morning denied him bond. He will remain in the Claremont County jail, not the Hamilton County jail, because Hamilton County officials well know where this is going. They know that if anything as serious as a hangnail befalls Rodney Hinton Jr. in jail, that he will use it to his advantage in court proceedings to claim mistreatment and to somehow try to wiggle out of his intentional act to murder this retired deputy. You might think I'm overly suspicious to say that. We have a story today out of Dayton, Ohio, Montgomery County, where jail surveillance video shows a violent clash between a 25-year-old black man from Zanesville by the name of Christian Black. Christian Black died in custody while fighting with 9 or 10 deputies. Why was he fighting with 9 or 10 deputies? He obviously made a bad decision to be incarcerated. And then he decided that he would bull rush the jail door and try to knock it down. He is a large man. I saw the video. So he's running into the jail door, and these police officers, in an attempt to keep him from harming himself, tase him and go into the jail cell to get him and to calm him down, to restrain him. I'll shorten the story for you. He fights. They put a hood on him. He gets so worked up that he dies of asphyxiation while they're trying to put a hood on him to keep him from spitting on officers. Okay, so of course now his family is going to sue the police officers. I don't think it's ever going to stop. I don't think it's ever going to stop. I don't think the racial discord in this country is ever going to stop. Number one, because Satan loves it when people get angry, and he'll use anything he can to divide us. Anything he can. And race, sex, anything where there's a clear delineation, man, woman, black, white, whatever it is, Satan will use it to drive division. Okay? And he has many agents helping him do that. And unfortunately, very unfortunately, some of the agents who are helping drive this kind of discord in our country are the people who could have great influence in ending it. I think race relations in our country got worse once we elected the first black president of the United States. That's not to say that we shouldn't ever have elected a black president of the United States, but we shouldn't have elected the one we elected, Barack Obama. I have no problem at all, ever, if Byron Donalds becomes president or Winsome Sears becomes president or Condoleezza Rice becomes president. A host of other black people can become president, but they will not use their skin color as a weapon. Barack Obama, and more specifically Michelle Obama, uses her skin color as a weapon. She is, Michelle Obama, the most ungrateful person in America. The privilege she and her family have been given. And yet, she continues to complain, to whine, and to be a victim. She has lived a life of privilege. And I will play for you audio from Michelle Obama when we come back from break, talking about how difficult it was to live in the White House because it was so incredibly expensive. This kind of attitude is what drives the discord in our country and what leads to innocent people like this sheriff's deputy in Hamilton County being murdered.
This afternoon, high 64. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 54. For tomorrow, sunny clouds, pleasant, warmer, high 74. Becoming cloudy tomorrow night, low 51. Partly sunny, couple of showers for the day on Thursday, the high 68. Cloudy and chilly, a shower in the area on Thursday night with a low at 41. On Friday, times of clouds and sunshine. High Friday afternoon at 67. Mostly sunny, terrific day on Saturday, high at 71.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Has the recent storms impacted your house? The Metal Roof Company not only specializes in working with your insurance company, but also specializes in all trades on the outside of your home. Roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, windows, and in some cases, we can install a metal roof for the same price as a shingle roof. So remember, folks, don't settle, buy metal. Call 614-721-ROOF or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
Do you want to feel younger, stronger, and full of life? At HealthSpan Clinics in Columbus, Ohio, their same-day stem cell therapy uses your cells to fight against aging naturally. With their Time Machine 3.0, you're in and out in one visit, recharged for vitality. Minimal downtime, maximum results. Learn more at health-span-clinics.com. Your healthier future starts now. HealthSpan Clinics. Live long, live well.
Here's great news. If you plan on attending Ohio Christian University as a new traditional student this fall semester at the Circleville campus, you can receive a $5,000 scholarship for only $2,500. That's right. Get a $5,000 scholarship. $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
I'm CPA Brad Hennebert with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
If you enjoyed your time with Larry Elder the couple of Fridays ago at the Dare Dutchman event that we held at the station, or if you didn't get your tickets in time and you missed it and you'd like to hang out with Larry, maybe the same situation applies with our Mike Gallagher event a couple months before that at the Lazy Chameleon. Now you get a twofer if you join the Patriots Alaska Cruise, because you'll be hosted on the cruise, the Holland America cruise ship, cruising through Alaska and to ports that are very well known, like Ketchikan, Victoria, British Columbia, Sitka, Juneau, Puget Sound. Larry and Mike Gallagher are going to host that cruise. When is it? August 16th through the 23rd. And you can find out more at travelwithsalem.com. That's travelwithsalem.com. So both these gentlemen are outstanding people, wonderful talk show hosts, conservative-minded men. Larry Elder's another Black American that I think would make a phenomenal president. But looking for a vacation idea? There it is. August 16th to the 23rd, Patriots Alaska Cruise. Go to travelwithsalem.com, travelwithsalem.com. So I had a great weekend. It's really awesome to see young people who are on the cusp of like achieving in their life. My daughter, oldest daughter's graduation from college on Saturday, and then yesterday, the campus where my other daughter chose is just one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. And honestly, it made me regret my life choice to attend Ohio State. I didn't put much thought into going where I was going to go to college. My daughters put far more thought into it and chose much more wisely than I did. And that's really what it's about as a parent, right? You hope your kids make better choices than you do. You hope you lead them effectively. I'll say it. It does not appear to me that Rodney Hinton Jr. Led his child, Ryan Hinton, effectively. Ryan Hinton is dead today. He is dead because he was involved with three friends in allegedly stealing a car, then running from police, then hiding behind a dumpster with a gun in his hand, and he was shot by police. Then his father, Rodney Hinton Jr., watched the body cam video of a justifiable shoot by law enforcement officers in the Cincinnati area, went home, slept on it, thought about it, and committed, in my view, premeditated murder the next day by driving around until he saw a law enforcement officer in a vulnerable position, a 33-year retired Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy named Larry Henderson. And Hinton Jr., gunned the accelerator and ran down and murdered Larry Henderson while Larry Henderson was working traffic control duty at the University of Cincinnati commencement. Race relations in our country are abysmal. They have gone backward since Barack Obama became president. We have had the hoax of hands up, don't shoot. We have had Barack Obama stoke racial discord with his comments about Trayvon Martin. We see it every single time. We see it nationally with Jacob Blake. We see it locally with Casey Goodson. We see it, it's just officers are keenly aware, particularly when they are white, that if they do anything, justifiable or not. Remember the rookie police officer who shot Ma'Khia Bryant and how he was called out immediately, pictured, identified by LeBron James? LeBron James didn't know anything about that case. He was in Los Angeles at the time. All he knew was that a white officer shot a black kid who had a knife and was threatening another black kid. Didn't matter to LeBron. All that mattered were the races. We have the Obamas and others, Al Sharpton, Jasmine Crockett. I mean, they just hand the baton from one to the other, to the other, to the other. Here's Michelle Obama, okay? Like, when leaders in the black community and leaders in the white community, when you put forward ideas like this and give people a reason to hate, as if they are justified in their hatred, they will take advantage of that. They will take advantage of that, and you will reap what you sow. Here's Michelle Obama. She's got an Ivy League degree. She's got 4 or 5 mansions. I lost track. She's undeniably wealthy. Her latest grievance is that when she was First Lady of the United States of America for 8 years, it was really, really expensive to be the First Lady.
It's expensive to live in the White House. As many people don't know, I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income.
Yes, so difficult, right? You don't have a house payment. You live in a 55,000 square foot mansion on 18 acres. You have Secret Service protection. You have a private plane. You have private chefs. But you got to buy your own groceries. I researched that. You do. You do have to buy your own groceries. Not for state dinners and things like that. Oh, we're hosting 200 people. I don't know if we can afford that. No, that's paid for by the taxpayer. She is the most unhappy woman in America. And the people who idolize her, the people who probably would have elected her president, I would not have wanted Donald Trump to run against her. Now, maybe she would have debated Donald Trump and she would have shown herself to be the miserable, ungrateful witch that she is, and she would not have gotten elected. But when you have leaders in your community adopting that sort of an attitude, we can't be surprised that we see what we see in our society today. Now, also, not just Michelle Obama, I just want to know, I think all white Americans who really want our country to be unified just want to know, do you want integration or do you want segregation? Because I'm confused, okay? Here's a story in the Dispatch today. Ohio State's black graduation celebration persists despite cancellation threats from DEI cuts. So the black students at Ohio State want to have their own graduation. They want to celebrate. And there was a line in here that really struck me. And I get it. I understand the suffering of the black community. Obviously, Joyce Beatty's not doing anything about it. Andrew Ginther's not doing anything about it. So they did an end around. They renamed it. They held this celebration for, it's not for black students only. You can come if you want to. How do you think that would go if you showed up? But here's the line that stood out to me. One of the people, Amari Middleton, president of Ohio State's Black Student Association. Is there a white student association? Of course there's not a white student association, because that would be racist. Amari Middleton tells the Columbus Dispatch, who he also gave the keynote address. Amari is a she. She couldn't give her remarks without naming what many in the room were feeling about attacks on DEI work in higher education. She talked about, graduating and it being a great achievement, and it is a great achievement. She said, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. You know what, Amari? So am I. My dad and mom didn't go to college. My dad and mom worked in factories. My dad lost 4 fingers on his right hand in a farming accident. I never heard him complain ever. Ever. Never. I never heard him complain one time. He almost went bankrupt on the farm. He went and did what he knew he was supposed to do, what his calling was as a man and a husband. He went and got a job in a factory. My mom was valedictorian of her class. She didn't get to go to college. Her parents didn't have the money. She went and worked in a factory. They never complained, ever. I went to college. My brother went to college. We got degrees. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams.
News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Friedrich Merz has succeeded in his bid to become the next German chancellor, a conservative leader elected during a second vote in parliament, hours after suffering an historic defeat in the first round of parliamentary voting. Trade expected to be high on the agenda today as President Trump is meeting with newly minted Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House. Also, Mr. Trump still not giving up on the idea of Canada as America's 51st state, saying that the military could use less generals and more GIs. Defense Secretary Hegseth ordering the active duty military to cut 20% of its 4-star generals. And rescue crews in Brenham, Texas have been searching for a 10-year-old girl. She was swept away in surging floodwaters that have engulfed the region. On Wall Street this morning, stocks are lower, and more details, srnnews.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Shortness of breath, patients confused. Temp 102, you just had an infection. What's going on?
He's becoming septic.
Antibiotics started. Bed ready, let's move it.
Infections can lead to a deadly chain reaction in your body called sepsis. Very quickly, sepsis can cause tissue damage, organ failure, and even death. If you know the risks, can spot the symptoms, and act fast, then you can get ahead of sepsis. Learn more at cdc.gov/sepsis.
This is Josh Pick with Aptus Wealth Management. The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. In Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
He's the voice of a new generation, willing to fight for what's right in the greatest country ever conceived. He's Charlie Kirk, and you can hear him weekdays from 1 to 3 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Well, guess what I'm doing this afternoon? I'm going to Mechanicsburg. No, I don't need a mechanic. No, I'm meeting a gentleman who reached out to me on brucehooley.com. He has a house that he is flipping, and he needs new flooring, and I'm more than happy to meet him and more than happy to help him. Looking forward to it. He, of course, found out about my flooring endeavors by listening to the radio show, which I very much appreciate. Your time is the greatest gift you can give me. I'd like to give you a little bit more of mine, other than just between 11 and 1. If you have a flooring need, want to remodel, flipping a house, commercial building that needs new flooring, I'd love the opportunity to give you a price. I don't expect you, and there will be no hard feelings if you go with another vendor. I just want the chance. Just let me show you whether or not I can save you money, whether or not I can get the products installed faster, whether or not I can get you the same exact product that you want. Did I mention save you money? Oh yeah, I think I did. Never hurts to mention it twice. So go to brucehooley.com and click flooring, brucehooley.com and click flooring. See you in Mechanicsburg today. That's not where the story is, Mechanicsburg. It's just that's where I am today. Okay. So we consume the first half hour of the show with a complex topic that I hate talking about. But I prayed this morning, as I do every morning. I prayed this morning that God would give me headlines that I could speak his truth through that prism. I was expecting something like really uplifting to come back at me from the computer screen, but instead what I got is a bunch of headlines about things that result from racial tension and hatred in our country, which I find tragic and stupid and yet evergreen. It will never stop. I'm convinced it will never stop because I believe it is, there are a lot of sources of it. First of all, look at a guy like Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton's made a ton of money off being a racial grifter. So has Ben Crump. So is Sean Walton, a local attorney right here in town. It's a lottery ticket a lot of times to have a criminal like Jacob Blake, like Michael Brown. It is a lottery ticket very often for a family to have, particularly a black criminal, shot and killed by police. Police are held to a much, much higher standard. For instance, here's another headline. See, I told you, that headline. Got the deputy, the white deputy in Cincinnati, run down by the father of a kid who the day before was investigated, was in the midst of an investigation by law enforcement officers down around Cincinnati for stealing a car. He and his 3 buddies, they fled from police. He had the gun. He hid behind the dumpster. Funny thing about law enforcement, they don't like to be shot at. They take it serious when somebody has a gun in their hand. And they shot him. His name was Ryan Hinton. And then his father, the next day, Rodney Hinton Jr., who clearly did not lead his son very well as a father. Rodney Hinton Jr., before he is now charged with murder of this deputy, was also charged in previous cases, I think, with aggravated menacing. So he's a violent man. He got very violent with his car. He ran down the sheriff's deputy and murdered him while the deputy was directing traffic. Retired deputy was directing traffic. Okay. So that's some of the headlines. Then we got the 25-year-old man from Zanesville, very large black man, arrested in jail, decides to try to run through the jail doors in the Montgomery County Jail. He's harming himself. An array of deputy sheriffs could have just let him in there to continue harming himself. No. They put themselves in harm's way to go in and keep this man from harming himself. He rewarded them by fighting them and attempting to spit on them. So they put a spit hood on him and they tried to restrain him, and he died because he got his heart rate going up and all this kind of stuff. These guys are all on leave. They're all now in fear of their jobs. Okay. So there's another headline. And we've got the separate black graduation at Ohio State where, they're complaining, like Michelle Obama's complaining about, it's really expensive to live at the White House. You don't have to pay for rent. You don't have to pay for utilities. You got a private plane. You got Secret Service protection. You're the envy of all of America. As the First Lady of the United States, you get to meet world leaders, but it's really expensive because you got to buy your own groceries for your family. And when I take my daughters on the private mammoth First Lady plane, I have to pay like the equivalent of a commercial airline ticket to take them to wherever in the world I want to take them. So she stokes this grievance idea that is out there. A lot of people who are black, who are white, who are whatever ethnicity you are, you've got a reason for grievance against politicians who tell you they're going to make your lives better and don't. But for some reason, you never hold them accountable. Never. Joyce Beatty will get elected to Congress as long as she's drawing a breath, as long as she wants to. She will never have to help you in Linden, in Franklinton, in the Near East Side. She will never have to help you because she wears, as, who was it that said? Jasmine Crockett, black Texas Congresswoman. Oh, it was Bill Maher. Said she wears the magic armor. You better believe it. Any criminal, any black criminal shot by white police, you get fitted for the magic armor. And I'm sick of people like Michelle Obama and Al Sharpton and Sean Walton and Ben Crump and people like that driving it. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of people doing this at Ohio State University. We got to have a black graduation. Chibundu Nanaki, president of the Ohio State Black Alumni Society. I graduated in 1982. I never got an invitation to join the White Alumni Society. You know why? Because that would be racist. But it's not racist to have an Ohio State Black Alumni Society. Nor is it racist to have a black-only graduation. Wait a minute. They say it's not for only black students. Nanaki said it has always been open to all students, but it is encouraged that students who participate in the black graduation have a connection or some type of understanding of African or African-American culture. I have an understanding of it. Can I go? Would I be given the little thingamajiggy thing to wear around my neck that Nancy Pelosi and all the people in Congress wore when they knelt on the ground and mourning the death of George Floyd, a drug addict who beat a pregnant woman and had enough fentanyl in his system to kill a horse? I don't think they'd give me that thing. Jeremiah Ratcliffe is an Ohio State junior and president of the university's National Pan-Hellenic Council. Said the road to graduation has not been easy for many of this year's seniors because they took away the Office of Diversity and Inclusion and the Center for Student Belonging and Social Change. And then Amare Middleton, she gave the keynote address, and she said, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. And I was making the point before the break. So am I. So am I. I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. None of them went to college. So's my older brother. He's our ancestors' wildest dreams. Because he's my brother, none of our ancestors went to college. My parents were factory workers. You're not the only one who has to work hard to graduate. You're not the only one who comes from tough circumstances. Okay? Like, you're just not. This is exhausting. When does this end? It will never end because you won't let it end. Because leaders in your community refuse to let it end because they've gained power and money. Michelle Obama and Al Sharpton and other people, Joy Reid and others, off continuing to voice grievances. So here's Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe has a foundation. Mike Rowe doesn't discriminate, white, black, whatever. All you have to do to get a scholarship from the Mike Rowe Foundation is not be allergic to work and not be addicted to grievance. Here is Mike Rowe telling Megyn Kelly about the number one thing that people who want a scholarship from the Mike Rowe Foundation have to sign their name to.
We got this thing called a sweat pledge. If you apply for a scholarship from my foundation, you have to sign it. And the very first tenet on it says, I believe I have hit the greatest lottery of all time. I'm alive. I walk the earth. I live in America. Above all things, I'm grateful. I have it there simply because I think it's impossible to feel sorry for yourself if your fundamental default position is gratitude.
Yeah, 100%. If your fundamental default position is gratitude, it is impossible to view life through the same prism as Michelle Obama and Al Sharpton and Sean Walton and Ben Crump and this dad in Cincinnati. Do a better job raising your kid so he doesn't steal a car and have a gun and not heed police warnings, so he doesn't make a series of bad decisions and end up dead. Now, final headline today around this topic, because I'm sick of it. Call me shocked that Milwaukee prosecutors, Milwaukee, one of the wokest towns in America, have decided not to prosecute the 5 Columbus police officers who shot a man wielding not one, but 2 knives at the Democratic National Convention this year. What was the response from black leaders in Milwaukee? Here it is. We expected the same decision to be used that has justified the actions of killer cops that have stolen the lives of thousands of black people. Yes, that's a black leader in Milwaukee. And you wonder why racial hatred will never end.
This afternoon, high 64. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 54. For tomorrow, sunny clouds, pleasant, warmer, high 74. Becoming cloudy tomorrow night, low 51. Partly sunny, couple of showers for the day on Thursday, the high 68. Cloudy and chilly, a shower in the area on Thursday night, with the low at 41. On Friday, times of clouds and sunshine, high Friday afternoon at 67. Mostly sunny, terrific day on Saturday, the high at 71. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Spring is in the air, and so is relaxation. At Rainbow Hot Tub Swim Spas and Saunas, their huge spring sale is here to melt your stress away. Picture this: warm, bubbling water, peaceful evenings, and your very own backyard oasis. Whether you're looking to unwind in a luxury hot tub, stay fit in a swim spa, or detox in a soothing sauna, now is the time. Save thousands during their biggest sale of the season. Visit Rainbow Hot Tubs today, where comfort meets quality and the deals are just as hot as the tubs. 6333 Bush Boulevard or online at rainbowhottubs.com. Rainbow Hot Tubs. Relaxation starts here.
Don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless. That comes with a lot of fine print, like requiring you to sign up for 4 lines, plus activation fees, plus. At the end of the day, you've paid for that free phone 3 times over. Pure Talk, my sponsor and my wireless company, has a much better offer. With a qualifying plan of just $35 a month, you can get a brand new Samsung Galaxy A26 for free. This phone has virtually indestructible Gorilla Glass and captures beautiful wide-angle photos with next-generation camera lenses. All you need to do is switch to Pure Talk. For $35 a month, you get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data with a mobile hotspot, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Dial pound 250. When prompted, just say Mike Gallagher, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. That's pound 250. When prompted, just say the keyword Mike Gallagher. Get your free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plan from Pure Talk, wireless by Americans for Americans.
If you're living with chronic pain, the one thing you want to know before you undergo any kind of medical procedure is there a track record of proven success with this procedure? Well, I'm Bruce Hooley here to tell you that QC Kinetics is getting results all across the country. And you say, well, great for them, but what about us? Well, QC Kinetics has clinics in Dublin, Gahanna, Grove City, and Canal Winchester. And Dr. Aaron Wolkoff and his team are getting amazing results with regenerative cell therapy. What do you think it does? It restores the tissue in your achy joints. Now, these biologic growth factors offer robust healing properties. Your blood is equipped to heal your body. You cut your finger, you sprain your ankle. You don't go to the doctor for that. Your body heals itself. That's essentially how QC Kinetics works, with the assistance of more healing agents from your blood in the affected area. You should check it out for yourself and let the doctors explain it to you. A free consultation is a phone call away. 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics.
There's something very dangerous in your home. It could be hiding in a closet or waiting in the basement. It's not sharp or toxic or flammable. It helps send more people to the trauma center than any other household item.
Hey, hon, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
To scoop out a few leaves? I'll be down in a heartbeat. Whoa! Ow!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. Ask any of the 150,000 people who fell off their ladders into the trauma center last year alone. Don't let a do-it-yourself project do yourself in. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well-connected.
Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com is one of the many reasons why you should make a trip to 989theanswer.com, part of your daily routine. Right now, did you know we have a $2,000 cash giveaway for Mother's Day? You didn't? Well, it's because you haven't gone to 989theanswer.com, clicked on contests, sweepstakes, boom, there you are. So now you have a leg up on the competition for that prize. Wouldn't mom love? $2,000 for Mother's Day, courtesy of you. You don't even have to tell her about us. But anyway, also you can save money. You may not win it, but you can save it. Temperature Pro Columbus making air conditioners available. Was your air conditioner on its last legs last year, wheezing and grinding and clinking and clanking as you tried to stay cool through the hot days of September? Not all of them were hot, but some of them were, and you were uncomfortable. Maybe it's time for a new air conditioner, because guess what? Resting over the winter didn't make it better. Temperature Pro Columbus, savings, affordable to you. Mac Mattress Outlets too. You can bundle their gift certificates from the Discount Shopping Club at 989theanswer.com. So the trial is underway in Licking County for the 61-year-old truck driver from Zanesville. His name is Jacob D. McDonald, who was driving the semi that ran into the back of a Tuscarawas Valley bus full of students and some volunteers, hit a car full of volunteers who were following the bus to a band competition. This happened in November of 2023. I bring these names up not to cause pain for their families, but because I think it's important to understand the gravity of the loss. The crash killed 18-year-old students John Mosley and Jeffrey Worrell. Caitlin Owens, 15, also lost her life. A teacher, Dave Kennett, 56, Christy Gaynor, 39, and Shannon Wigfield, 46, also died in the crash, and the bus driver suffered injuries that caused his leg to be amputated. So this is a very serious crash. I remember talking about it when it happened. It happened on I-70 east of Columbus. Mr. McDonald is a diabetic, but his blood taken at the scene, according to prosecutors, does not suggest that he was at dangerously low levels. So it appears that that is off the table. This is not a jury trial. This is what's called a bench trial. So it'll take place before Licking County Common Pleas Court Judge David Brandstuhl. He will hear the testimony, the evidence. The truck driver is not expected to testify in the trial. And the prosecutor is going to make the case that Mr. McDonald, the truck driver, was either looking at his phone or was distracted by his phone in some way, shape, or form, thus causing him not to see the vehicle and the bus that he crashed into. Here is the defense attorney in the case making that case.
The state's claim of the on-off, I believe that it's called, is complete.
Okay, I got that wrong. This is the defense attorney in the case refuting the state's claim that by looking at the amount of cell phone data that was downloaded in the immediate preceding minutes of the crash, the defense attorney claims that no cell phone company can pinpoint it to that exacting degree to thus make the testimony admissible in the case.
The state's claim of the on-off, I believe that it's called, is completely made up. That's one promise that I will make to you in the course of this trial. They will never be able to prove that. You'll learn through the experts and through the evidence that's going to be submitted, it's literally on it, that AT&T doesn't tell you what user activity is. They tell you only volume of data, the session interface. They can't tell you what it was at all.
All right, so that'll be one of the issues that is at issue in this case. And they unfortunately do not have access to the truck driver, Mr. McDonald's phone. It burned in the crash, melted in the fire that ensued afterward. He's pulling a 50-foot trailer with 24,000 pounds of batteries, and he ran into the back of the bus. Here is the testimony of the band director. Her name is Mary Gensley, about what it was like being in the bus at the moment of and shortly after impact.
I was in a fog and I was trying to figure out what had just happened. All of a sudden, the corner of the bus started caving in and coming apart. And I was trying to figure out what is going on.
Now, the pictures from the scene are really gruesome. There's nothing left of this bus, nor really of the semi. Now, what is new in this case before Judge Brandstuhl is video footage from a semi adjacent to the crash. Here is that semi driver. His name is Eugene Manns Jr., talking about what he saw.
Next thing I know, we heard a loud crash. Boom! Looked over out the passenger window and I saw the truck pushing the bus down the road. And I seen the truck go up the back of the bus like it was on a roller coaster.
So I don't know. I can't predict the future, but this does not appear to be in any way, shape, or form justifiable. This is why you shouldn't text and drive, and why you have to always be vigilant when you're behind the wheel, because you are driving a massive object that, while we think we are the masters of it, we are the masters of it only if we are paying attention and reactive in the moment. So we'll see. We'll keep track of that. They think the case is going to go 3 or 4 days. I anticipate a very quick verdict in this case. He is charged, Mr. McDonald, with 26 counts, including 6 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide. So a very tragic story. He didn't want to do this. I mean, this is not malicious. This is not like the act of, the man in Cincinnati who went looking for a law enforcement officer to run down. It's not a malicious act. Nevertheless, it's an act that actions have consequences, and you have to answer for your consequences. And you have to answer for your actions. Or a lot of times you don't. A lot of criminals never answer for their actions. Today's primary day in Ohio. Is that why traffic today on the way to work was not miserable, like it always is, since Chase decided they'd make all their employees work on site, which I was in favor of until I realized the impact it would have on my commute. Primary elections typically are poorly, attended. The vote total is way down, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think the early voting total, get this, you want to know why primary day is, a lot of people get the day off to vote. A lot of schools, if there are ballot locations, are closed on primary election day. How many people do you think have voted? Here, let me give you the number. In the presidential election in the state of Ohio, number of people who voted early was well over 2 million, okay? Well over 2 million. So far, the number of people who voted early in advance of today, the May 6th primary, was 172,000. 172,000. Now, there might be pockets of high turnout, local issues. Maybe somebody's, frosty about a local issue they either support or don't support. And there might be high numbers here or there, but not very many places. The only statewide issue on the ballot is issue 2. Nobody ever knows what these issues are. At least not enough people know, because nobody researches this. Not enough people research it. It would authorize the state of Ohio to give out $250 million in bonds annually. In other words, to borrow $250 million annually, or $2.5 billion over the next decade, to fund local infrastructure projects, roads, bridges, landfills, water systems, and the like. Now, Ohio has renewed this 3 times. Now, of course, in the era of big government spending, we are expanding the amount of money that we want to borrow from $200 million a year to $250 million a year. If you have a school levy on the ballot, what was my advice to you Friday before I left? That's right. Go to Google, Ohio Auditor Spending Efficiency Map. Find your school district on the map. See if you're getting good value for your education. If you are, vote yes. If you are not, vote no.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready to take the next step, Google Salem Surround Columbus right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Salem Surround Columbus today.
You can hear this today at TrekerTopia.com.
Allison Armstrong is a renowned relationship expert. So let me tell you what happened about 3 minutes prior to going on the air. I said, okay, Allison, what's on your mind as the topic for today's show? And she then said it to me, and I said, I didn't understand a word, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
Hear the entire episode. It's for Pregertopia members only. Go to Pregertopia.com.
Find us at 9890theanswer.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking news this summer from townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
President Trump is pledging to pay immigrants who self-deport to their home country. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The president says his administration is willing to work with immigrants who voluntarily leave the United States.
What we thought we'd do is a self-deport, where we're going to pay each one a certain amount of money, and we're going to get them a beautiful flight back to where they came from.
He says immigrants who self-deport and leave the U.S. might have a chance to return legally. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The East African nation of Rwanda is reportedly being eyed as a potential destination for some deported illegal immigrants. Also at townhall.com, on the battlefront, all 4 of Moscow's international airports are temporarily shut down. That's after an attack by Ukrainian drones.
9 other regional airports also temporarily stopped operating as drones struck areas along the border with Ukraine and deeper into Russia, according to officials. It was the second straight night that the Moscow region reportedly was targeted. The drone assault may threaten a planned Russian unilateral 72-hour ceasefire in the more than 3-year war, to coincide with celebrations marking Russia's Victory Day in World War II. I'm Charles Philadelphia.
Israel's military says it's launched airstrikes against Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, fully disabling the country's international airport in the capital, Sana'a. It also said several power plants were struck in the area. The strike's the second time in 2 days that Israel attacked the rebels in Yemen in retaliation for a missile strike on Israel's airport on Sunday. And Friedrich Merz has succeeded in his bid to become the next German chancellor during a second vote in parliament, hours after he suffered a defeat in the first round. More at townhall.com.
Rain this afternoon, high 64. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 54. For tomorrow, sunny clouds, pleasant, warmer, high 74. Becoming cloudy tomorrow night, low 51. Partly sunny, couple of showers for the day on Thursday, high 68. Cloudy and chilly, a shower in the area on Thursday night, with a low at 41. On Friday, times of clouds and sunshine, high Friday afternoon at 67. Mostly sunny, terrific day on Saturday, high at 71. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
The Dinesh D'Souza podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
Trump plays the crazy man strategy, and people never know what he's going to do. So while we don't see fully through the end of the tunnel, Trump seems to see through the end of the tunnel. It does seem that there is a strategy, maybe a crazy man strategy, but there is a strategy in play.
Subscribe to the Dinesh D'Souza podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
With SRN Sports, I'm George Williams. Major League Baseball action last night. The Braves shut the Reds out 4-0 behind 22-year-old rookie A.J. Smith-Shawver, who had a no-hitter going for 7 innings until Santiago Espinal's sharp single to center field leading off the 8th inning. Elsewhere in 11 innings, the Athletics scored 2 in their home half of the 11th to beat the Mariners 7-6. Royals shut the White Sox out. Brewers over the Astros 5-1. Cubs beat the Giants 9-2. Cardinals over the Pirates 6-3. Mets down the Diamondbacks 5-4. Dodgers over the Marlins 7-4. And the Padres beat the Yankees 4-3. The game was postponed. Guardians and the Nationals were rained out. NBA, in overtime, Knicks beat the Celtics 108-105. New York leads the best-of-7 series now 1-0. And by 2 points, it was the Nuggets over the Thunder 121-119. This is SRN Sports. In NBA play tonight, it'll be the Pacers against the Cavaliers. Then the Warriors will play the Timberwolves. NHL action. The Maple Leafs defeated the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers 5-4. Toronto now leads that series 1-0. Toronto seeking its first Stanley Cup since the 1966-67 season. Tonight, it'll be the Hurricanes against the Capitals and the Oilers versus the Golden Knights. And then in NBA news, Mitch Johnson is the new head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Longtime legendary coach Craig Popovich has stepped down from that role after suffering from health problems, but he will remain with the Spurs as the team president. President Trump is a headliner as he announced that the city of Washington, D.C. will host the 2027 NFL Draft, and that event will be taking place on the National Mall here in the nation's capital. This is SRN Sports.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded. I'm CPA Brad Hennepert with Premier Tax CPAs.
And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Welcome in. Hour number 2, Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. Glad to be back. A wonderful weekend. Watched my oldest daughter graduate from college on Saturday. Watched my middle daughter, helped her clean out her dorm room on Monday. And we drove back yesterday from Tennessee. So both of them have made great choices in the colleges that they are attending. Their dad didn't make as good a choice, but that's what you hope for as a father, is that your kids make better choices than you do. I went to Ohio State, which is in the shadow, of course, of Upper Arlington, which used to be a fantastic school district. That's why I bought my first house there, because everybody said, oh, your house will always go up in value because the schools are great. The schools are not always great. They're not nearly as good now as they used to be. And I would say a lot of people in Upper Arlington, but not really a lot of people in Upper Arlington, because that suburb has ceased to be politically what it was when I lived there in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. It is now rare to find a conservative in Upper Arlington. And I don't find that to be coincidental that the schools have suffered because of the influx of liberals in Upper Arlington. And I don't even remember when it was, probably 2 years ago, when we had the hidden camera video of a gentleman by the name of Matthew Boaz, who was the chief equity officer in Upper Arlington schools. And then Boaz was mysteriously placed on administrative leave. And he just quietly went away. And we traced his resume, and he jumped from one DEI job to another DEI job, always failing up. Well, now it looks like Upper Arlington schools may have to answer for its DEI fascination. The America First Legal Group has asked the Department of Education to investigate the Upper Arlington School District for implementing DEI policies that date back to 2020 and cites material from the district's own website. Here's what the website says. The district added a chief talent officer to foster workforce diversity. They had an equity advisory board, which aims to provide invaluable insight and feedback on the recruitment of a diverse staff. The district also created a chief excellence and engagement officer who was tasked with spearheading diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Also on the website, the district says that there is, quote, a need for a clear vision for DEI initiatives and advocacy for LGBTQIA plus students. And it termed those who oppose DEI efforts as, quote, negative voices. I guess I remember going to an Upper Arlington football game at least 2 years ago, maybe 3, at Marv Moorhead Stadium. And there were non-binary bathrooms at Upper Arlington. They built those. Remember, we did a bunch of shows on this. They were building the high school. State law mandated that they build a public space with men's rooms and women's rooms. And in a portion of Upper Arlington High School, near the gymnasium and the auditorium, they did that because that's where, like, moms and dads would go to the school to see a basketball game, a volleyball game, or a play or a musical performance, and they knew that, we're woke, but we're not woke enough to make our moms in Upper Arlington have to deal with, a dude in their bathroom. So we'll have men's and women's rooms near the auditorium, and we'll have them near the gym. But in other parts of the high school, we'll have the gender inclusive bathrooms. Everything was a private stall in which the inhabitant of said private stall could lock the door, thus being invisible to the outside world, if in fact there was an outside world of teachers watching. Someone thought this seemed like a great idea at the time. Nobody with a brain thought it would be a great idea at the time, because what they found was that students were doing things in bathrooms they shouldn't be doing. And there was even a student-led revolt against this, which was up on the 10 TV website for about a half a second before some powerful person in Upper Arlington complained. And it was not only taken off the 10 TV website, it was removed from the internet. Okay? So now America First Legal is letting the education department know, a friendlier to sane education policies now, that maybe you ought to look at Upper Arlington, which continues to defy President Trump's executive orders. Let me just remind you of one quote from the now departed from the Upper Arlington schools, Matthew Boaz, who was the executive director of diversity, equity, and inclusion at UA. Remember, they had the hidden camera. We interviewed the guy who went in with the hidden camera. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, but he does a great job going around capturing leftists outing themselves and their stupid policies. Matthew Boaz said, when he was asked, well, you're not allowed to do this, but are you still able to do it? Like they were posing like parents who wanted this nonsense taught to their kids. And Matthew Boaz said, there's more than one way to skin a cat. You can pass a bill that you can't teach CRT in a classroom, but if you didn't cover programming or you didn't cover extracurricular activities or something like that, that message might still get out. Oops. Yeah, well, now the joke is on you, Matthew Boaz, although he's probably got a much better, bigger, fatter salary somewhere else. Not as a diversity, equity, and inclusion officer, because, of course, that now is not allowed, but they'll just change the name and he'll keep on doing what he's doing until we stomp the last cockroach believing in that racial discord to death. The idea to death, not the person. Okay, why do we have this discord in our country? Because it is fed by the media, right? It's the case in Texas where we've got the black 17-year-old kid, Carmelo Anthony, who stabbed the white kid in the chest because the white kid told him to get out of the tent where he didn't belong. It was the tent of, the young man who got stabbed and his teammates, not the tent where the other kid from a different school, Carmelo Anthony with a K, not related to the basketball player, where he was supposed to be. And then the black kid baited him by saying, touch me and see what happens. And then the kid came over, Austin. I can't remember Austin's last name. That's sad. I remember the murderer's name. I don't remember the murder victim's name. And how's the media covering that story? Oh, that's right. They're not covering. How would they be covering it if a white kid stabbed a black kid? Oh, we'd have panels on CNN and we'd have histrionics on MSNBC. This is just demonstrative of our rotten media. I could call this segment Today in Crazy Media. Donald Trump sat down with Kristen Welker of NBC, which I don't know why, other than Trump loves embarrassing the media. This is one of the outtakes from that interview that you didn't see if you took one for the team and watched Meet the Press on Sunday.
Like even the way you ask questions, every question is asked in a negative vein. There's a toy company that took a toddler's, whatever, but